Training camp officially kicks off today, and the Miami Dolphins are already dealing with a major twist. Not terrible, not terrific, but definitely confusing. As pads come on and players hit the field, all eyes are on Zach Sieler, the standout defensive lineman. But here's the catch. There's uncertainty surrounding his contract situation. On Sunday night, his agent Drew Rosenhaus appeared on a Miami TV station and revealed that contract talks are quietly ongoing behind the scenes. According to Rosenhaus, this is something being handled privately between Zach, his camp, and the Dolphins front office. Now, here's the part that's raising eyebrows. While Rosenhaus confirmed that Zach Sieler will report to training camp, he was vague when asked if Sieler would actually participate in practice. That kind of non-answer has fans and analysts wondering if we're about to witness a classic NFL hold-in. And before we dive into what this means for Miami's defense, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, and smash the bell icon so you never miss a single update on your Miami Dolphins. Let's keep the fins up. And now, back to the action. So, is it good news or bad news? It's a little of both. The positive, Sieler isn't holding out, which means he'll be present at camp. The downside? He may not be a full participant, especially in 7-on-7s or team drills, which are crucial this time of year. You might see him doing individual drills, staying on the sidelines, or simply ramping up slowly. Here's what we know about the financials. Sieler is still under contract through 2025 and 2026, earning around $7.3 million in base salary this year and $7.5 million next. But his cap hit is significant, $12.4 million this season, followed by $11.4 million in 2026. Not exactly a small number for a player who's become essential to Miami's defensive success. Bottom line, if this lingers too long, it could disrupt a key part of the Dolphins' defense. We'll keep watching this situation closely. Let's talk about what's really fueling this contract tension between Zach Sieler and the Miami Dolphins. The issue isn't just about salary, it's about security. Despite being one of the Dolphins' most productive players, Sieler is only guaranteed $2.2 million over the next 2 years. That's it. For a guy who's been a key piece of Miami's defensive engine, that number feels criminally low. From the team's perspective, this contract is a massive bargain. Getting this level of production for that kind of money? Any front office would be thrilled. But now switch seats. From Sieler's point of view, this situation likely feels unsettling. A player who's been consistently dominant, delivering back-to-back high-impact seasons, yet he's staring down minimal guarantees? It's not hard to imagine he's pushing for either a raise or a restructuring, not out of ego, but out of fairness. And honestly, can you blame him? But here's the twist. Miami might hesitate. Sieler's already 30 years old, and giving a major extension to a veteran at a physically demanding position comes with risk. The Dolphins are building for now and the future. Every dollar matters under the cap, so it's a tough spot. Still, here's why there's reason for optimism. Zach Sieler isn't the type to make this ugly. He's not some diva looking for headlines. This is a guy who shows up, puts on the hard hat, and grinds. The definition of blue-collar football. Everything we've seen suggests he's a team-first player who wants to compete, not cause chaos. That's why it's hard to picture him dragging this issue into the regular season and missing games. As of now, we don't know exactly what Sieler's approach will be in practice. Maybe he eases in. Maybe he does individual work only. But it's hard to see him walking away from the team or refusing to suit up when the season kicks off. One thing's for sure. If Miami wants to keep this defense dominant, resolving this quietly and quickly might be the smartest move they make all offseason. Let's be clear about something. The Dolphins aren't just negotiating with any player. They're navigating a contract situation with one of their most valuable defensive weapons, Zach Sieler. Sure, his early career wasn't headline-worthy, but everything changed in 2023 when Sieler, alongside Christian Wilkins, absolutely erupted. That breakout year earned him an extension. But some fans asked, Was it just a product of having Wilkins next to him? Could he hold his own once defenses started scheming directly against him? Well, Sieler answered loud and clear. Even without Wilkins in 2024, and despite playing 2 fewer games, he put up even better numbers. No Pro Bowl running mate next to him. No favors from opposing O-lines. Just pure dominance from the interior. And yet, he's still underrated. Let's talk facts. 10 sacks in back-to-back seasons. Played in 32 out of 34 games over the past 2 years. When the Dolphins had a frustrating 2024 season, and stars like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Ramsey, and Javon Holland weren't quite at their best. Guess who showed up every single week? It was Zach Sieler. He was not just productive. He was the best player on the field. Period. This isn't just about numbers. It's about leadership, durability, and heart. He sets the tone on defense. He commands respect in the locker room. And if you're serious about building a championship team in Miami, you don't let guys like that feel unappreciated. Bottom line, Zach Sieler deserves to be paid, not as a favor, but because he's earned it. He's not just a solid player. He's arguably the best interior pass rusher in the NFL who isn't being talked about enough. Let's be real. Zach Sieler might not be on the same tier as Dexter Lawrence or Chris Jones in name recognition, but when you dig into the numbers, his performance stacks up remarkably well. Among 42 qualified interior defensive linemen, Sieler ranks in the top half of almost every key metric: pressures, sacks, hurries, and quarterback hits. The only category where he falls behind? Pass rush win rate, sitting at 8.7%. But even then, the guy consistently disrupts the pocket and finishes plays, which matters far more than just winning a rep cleanly. What sets Sieler apart is his ability to generate heat from the center of the line. That's the nightmare zone for quarterbacks. They can't step up in the pocket. Instead, they're flushed out and into the arms of edge monsters like Chop Robinson, Jaelan Phillips, and Bradley Chubb. In that way, Sieler doesn't just create havoc himself. He amplifies the entire pass rush unit. Yes, there were some struggles in the run game last season. That's fair to say. But let's not ignore context. This is a player who's been a solid run defender in prior years, and one off season doesn't define a career. Even the advanced metrics paint a murky picture. While his stop rate and missed tackle percentage were in the bottom half of the league, Puff still graded him as the 13th best interior run defender. It's an odd disconnect, and it highlights just how complex defensive evaluation can be. But numbers aside, what matters most? Zach Sieler is a complete defensive lineman. He can stop the run. He can collapse the pocket. And more than that, he's a leader, a tone setter, a foundational part of the Dolphins locker room. That's why this contract tension is about more than just money. It's about recognizing what he brings on and off the field. When a guy like Sieler feels undervalued, it should make everyone in the building a little uneasy, because players like this don't come around often. Even if you completely ignore everything Zach Sieler brings on game day, no tackles, no sacks, no pressures, and look only at what he provides in the locker room, he's still worth every dollar of his contract. And honestly, probably more. In a franchise constantly juggling injuries and roster turnover, Sieler has been a rare constant. Over the last 2 seasons, he's played 32 out of 34 games, a level of durability that most players on the Dolphins roster can't match. While stars like Bradley Chubb, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Ramsey, Javon Holland, Christian Wilkins, Robert Hunt, and Andrew Van Ginkel have either missed time or cycled through the lineup, Sieler has been the anchor. His leadership isn't loud, it's consistent. He leads by example, shows up, puts in the work, brings the same energy to a Wednesday walkthrough as he does on Sundays. That's why this situation should be handled swiftly. Miami has the opportunity to lock in one of its most dependable and respected leaders. Doing it sooner rather than later avoids unnecessary distractions. No speculation, no sideline drama, just business handled. Because let's face it, no one wants to see a key voice like Sieler standing on the sidelines during full team drills. Whether he's doing light individual work or easing into camp, it's simply not ideal when a player of his importance isn't going full speed with teammates like Kenneth Grant, Zeke Biggers, and Jaelan Phillips. This isn't just about depth on the defensive line. It's about culture. And Sieler is that culture. If the Miami Dolphins want to take a real step forward this season, it has to start in the trenches. The front four, especially on defense, needs to become a consistent, disruptive force. And that's only possible if Zach Sieler is fully involved, leading by example every day. You can't build dominance in the offseason if your veteran leader isn't out there getting reps. Sieler needs to be lining up alongside guys like Kenneth Grant, helping him adjust to the pro game and setting the tone for how a Miami Dolphin plays, with toughness, consistency, and accountability. Look, Miami's defensive line wasn't elite last year. It had flashes, but not the level of control needed to carry this team deep into January. A year ago, Calais Campbell was a standout across the league, and while Kenneth Grant has enormous potential, expecting him to match Campbell's immediate impact as a rookie is a big ask. That's where Sieler comes in. His presence isn't just about stats. It's about teaching, guiding, and preparing this 13th overall pick for the grind of an NFL season. Grant already comes in with a strong motor and high football character, a classic Michigan product. But Sieler can help elevate that from good to great. From promising rookie to day one impact player. If you're trying to build something lasting in Miami, a defense that can win when it matters, then keeping Sieler on the field, in the locker room, and fully engaged with these young guys is non-negotiable. So what's the move? Sieler is 30 years old, with 2 years remaining on his current deal. A logical solution? Extend him for 2 more years. That would take him through his age 34 season, keeping his leadership and production in the building through the heart of Miami's win-now window. And honestly, he's earned that commitment. Whether or not he continues to improve with age, Zach Sieler has already proven he's the kind of player who makes everyone around him better. That alone is worth the investment. Here's the truth. Extending Zach Sieler doesn't just solve one problem. It solves 2. By giving him a simple 2-year extension, the Dolphins can lower his base salary this season, freeing up valuable cap space. You don't need magic. You just need foresight. With Miami expected to free up significant room in 2025, likely through a massive cap-clearing move like parting ways with Tyreek Hill, the front office can backload Sieler's deal into 2026 to 2028 without pain. Push some guaranteed money forward. Move the heavier hits to a cap-friendlier future. With the right restructuring, Miami could free up $5.8 million in space right now. No, it's not blockbuster money, but it's enough to potentially add a depth piece at corner or tight end. More importantly, it keeps your most consistent defensive performer happy and locked in. This isn't just about cap strategy. It's about rewarding the guys who built your culture, not just the ones you traded for. Miami has shown love to guys like Bradley Chubb, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Ramsey. Fair enough. But Zach Sieler was developed right here. He's earned his respect the hard way, from practice squad hopeful to team cornerstone. So, why the delay? Sieler has done everything right. He stayed healthy, productive, and professional. He's the type of guy who shows up early, puts in the work, and leads by example. Unlike some others this offseason, there's no drama attached to Sieler. He just wants to play football and help the Dolphins win. Let's be honest, Miami's offseason has already been noisy. From the slow process of locking in Jonas Savainia to rumors around Tyreek Hill, Jalen Ramsey, and Javon Holland, the last thing this team needs is another contract distraction hanging over camp. Give the man his extension, not as a favor, as a message to your entire roster. If you give your all to this franchise, you'll be rewarded. Zach Sieler isn't asking for the spotlight, but it's time he got what he deserves. A deal that matches his value, leadership, and loyalty.